Hey, welcome to Discovering More with Peace Church. We're talking about our newest series, Celebrate the Journey. It's kind of been a year-long theme as we've looked at 40 years of ministry for Pastor Mark and all that God is doing in our midst as we look at transition and all that sort of stuff. And so we're capping that off this June, May and June, by celebrating the journey that God has us on and reflecting on how God is a God of celebration. So you talked about Jubilee this past Sunday.
Yeah, and so we're talking about Jubilee, this special year of celebration, which really has an emphasis on caring for the poor and the oppressed and kind of restoring a sense of normalcy and a good life back to them.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the things that really struck me is in this connection with Deuteronomy that we were looking at before, when you look in Deuteronomy and Leviticus, number one, God's heart for people who are poor and oppressed and his desire to restore, because he says things like the Lord executes justice and takes care of these people. And what's struck me is that we don't normally see God like intervening in miraculous ways to do that. But then when you look at it, it seems like he's saying, actually what he's doing is he's saying, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it through you.
Yeah.
So we are called to have a heart for people like God does, and we are called to execute justice. We're called to care for the poor and those who are oppressed. And but God sees it as a joyous thing, not just for the people who are receiving from us, but he wants us to find joy also, because joy in caring and in giving and in sacrificing to help others. And so Jubilee is a joyful thing for everybody, not just the people who are having their lives restored, but for those who are helping to make that happen and sometimes by sacrificing.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of Jubilee really got me going down some rabbit trails, around God's economy. And people want to talk about how God, what kind of economy God would set up, or what what kind of politics God would have, and all this kind of stuff. But it's interesting that everyone, because it would have been every 50 years, so pretty much everyone would have experienced one Jubilee in their life. Some people maybe two. But you think about, there's one time where things get, the clock gets reset. Like it's kind of it's a really crazy concept.
It is.
But I like what you just said there around, we have to take ownership over that, and Jesus before he goes to the cross, he's like, the poor you'll always have with you. You won't always have me with you though.
Right.
And so to think about that, what's our role then in making sure that people have what they need?
Yeah.
As a society. And I think that there's an ideal in our world today that's basically, I think there was get rich or die trying.
Well, yeah.
And it's not just getting rich. I think there's like exorbitant wealth that's also being built up. And that's become our aspirational values as a society, is how far ahead can you get from everyone else. And we've kind of neglected this, hey, can we bring people along with us? I don't know how far to go into this, because there's a lot of angles of it, but it would have been giving people an opportunity to restart.
Exactly.
You could still lose the land again that God gave you.
They still could make bad choices.
It's not a get out of jail free. It's not a free pass. It's still requiring a lot of work and effort and care, but you get a chance. You get another chance.
Yeah, and one of the things I was reading somewhere, somebody on this, and he was making the point that a big part of it may have been that there will be people who have been born into that poverty, kids, right? Because mom and dad ended up having to sell the land or put themselves into slavery, and in fact, the children would be part of that. If I put myself into an indentured servitude with you, my whole family kind of comes along. And so part of it was so that those that were born into that, oppressive kind of poverty, they would get their own chance to be set free and to start over as well.
Wow.
So that's something I hadn't really thought about.
Yeah, that's really.
But yeah, you're right. There's all sorts of debates. How do we best do that? How do we best help people? Welfare is that term that people get all. How do we best do that so we don't enable people to just take advantage? But God calls us to care for people.
Yeah.
and take the risk, I guess, if you will, also to take the risk that maybe some people might take advantage of our goodness, our care.
Yeah.
But he calls us to care for people.
Well,
And find joy in it. That's my thing again, is to find joy in those
Finding
opportunities.
joy. Yeah. I will be picking up on July 4th weekend. I'll be picking up some of the political nature of our faith and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think it's always worth noting that the commands God gave to the nation of Israel were political commands.
Yeah. It was how their nation should be organized.
And as we bring them into the church, they become guidelines for the church.
Right.
They can be accessed by the world, by any nation to say, hey, what are helpful ways to actually govern? But you look at the early church then, and what do you see? You see people selling their second homes, giving everything they can to help other people in the church. You see this radical generosity in the church.
Radical is right. Yeah.
And they did it with joy. And so I think that's one element that I appreciate about what you brought up too, is that where's our joy? Where's our joy in life? It's important to celebrate and to really take the time, because I think what we've done is we've removed ourselves from so many of the meaning-making things in life. Even farming the field, you see things grow, you harvest the things, then you get a period of rest, you get to celebrate. And I grew up with the harvest picnic and all this kind of stuff. But you get out of that rhythm and routine, and it's kind of like every day's the same. And what's really worth celebrating?
And we start to get into the grind of, I deserve all of this, and so we don't necessarily celebrate it, right? I deserve whatever it is I'm working for, or I deserve for people to take notice of me and take care of my problem. And so if you feel like you deserve everything, sometimes I think we lose the joy as well, because it's like, well, I'm supposed to have that, right?
Yeah, so I heard somebody say recently, to have what you want, just want what you have.
Yeah.
And that was like, man, it's so good. It's so true. Just be grateful. And the point is that people didn't have hot showers till 50 years ago.
Yeah.
What?
And for us, it's like total necessity, right? If you're without hot water for, oh man.
So, that's kind of wild to think. So it's like the life that we have, the houses we have, the access we have to world-class entertainment. It's like, wow. Like people had no idea that this was possible.
Even possible.
And now to have what you want, just want what you have.
Yeah.
And to give thanks, like you said, to celebrate. Every day is, with Jesus, every day is a Jubilee.
Every day is Jubilee.
Every day is a Jubilee. So find some things to be grateful for today. And not just grateful, but celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
What can you celebrate today? And I mean, just really find joy in it and let God know, hey, thank you. This is so wonderful.
Yeah.
And maybe bring somebody along in that celebration.
Buy a cake for something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining.
Pie.
Pie. Okay. Pie. Yeah.
For me.
I think pie would be acceptable too. And thanks for joining, for discovering more today. And I hope that these are just being a blessing to you. And like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you're thankful for, what you're celebrating. And I look forward to being back with you soon.